trying to break down.
Now, we're hearing understandable calls for Israel to finally wipe out Hamas, not just for the sake of the Israelis, but for the sake of the Palestinians. How does history suggest this might not be very easy?
Well, it's certainly not easy. That goes without saying, just in terms of the sheer tactical operational challenge of rooting Hamas out of Gaza when it has an entire network of tunnels. It's almost the hardest military undertaking that ground troops could be asked to perform. But there's a broader point that I think you're getting at, John, and that is that if you were able to get rid of Hamas, suppose you were able to get rid of every single trained terrorist, how long would it be before another organization came along? After all, Hamas is in a sense a successor to a previous version of the same concept, the Palestine Liberation Organization, a more radicalized, a more Islamist version. And presumably, if Hamas were eradicated, but the predicament of the Palestinian people remained broadly the same in Gaza, something as bad, if not worse, would come along. I think that's too negative, too pessimistic a view, because it seems to me to imply that the Palestinian people are incapable of doing anything other than support terrorist organizations. I think it's more accurate to say that the people in Gaza have been under the rule of a terrorist organization, Hamas, that many of them would dearly like to be rid of, that ordinary people in Palestine wanted better economic opportunities than they had, and they found Hamas has stood in their way. Hamas is a corrupt criminal racket. Like a lot of terrorist organizations, it is also a crime syndicate, because that's how it works. That's how the business of terrorism works.
Because it's expensive business.
Of course. You don't necessarily get given all these weapons for free. So what Hamas does is it takes the aid that naive Western governments pour in to the Palestinian people, steals it, sends it to the high-end residences that its leadership occupy in Qatar, and dispenses the money on the reign of terror that it maintains. So I think it's possible to get rid of a cancer like that from a society. You have, however, you must create better opportunities for the people in Gaza after this war is over. Because if you don't do that, if you don't solve that fundamental problem, then it's likely that something similar, if not worse, will come along.